Hello everyone, my name is Phawx. This is Octopath Traveler for PC running on the GPD Win 2. This is going to be a low spec build, kind of look at Octopath Traveler, kind of taking a look at what it requires to run this game. The game is pretty well optimized. There isn't a tremendous amount going on here. We're very much GPU bound. We're using Intel 7Y30 on this platform, which is what Intel considers their tablet type of system on a chip. Thank you very much to Square Enix for providing me with a review code. Otherwise, most likely I would not be getting the game so early to demo to my audience. So I just wanted to put that out there, that Square Enix has supplied me with code. Now, here's the interesting bit that I wanted to talk about as we take a look at it. Now, this game will run pretty much on anything you throw at it because we are very much GPU bound. This particular chip, the 7Y30, is using Intel's HD615, which is a pretty low-end Gen 9 graphics chip. It's reasonably good, but right now you can see we're at 750 megahertz. We'll go around 700 megahertz right there. 848 megahertz is its top frequency. It's going to be hard for us to get there at 7 watts. And the only reason why I want to show it running at 7 watts is that the game runs fairly well. The only thing is that once we start loading in lots of different depth of field and lots of different graphic effects, all this post-processing stuff, our frame time gets a little out of whack. And you can see our frame time, even though our frame rate stays consistent, our frame times are really inconsistent in terms of how jittery they can be. And you can smooth this out if you increase the TDP. And we don't have that much of a buffer to go to, right? Because we just want to go to 848 megahertz, so we're only going to get another 10% boost. It will just kind of even this out a little bit more. You'll kind of see this kind of more straightforward, like kind of linear graphing going on instead of all this jaggedy stuff. When you're playing, you really don't notice the frame time hitches at all. And also, more to the point, this is a JRPG, so it's turn-based combat, there's exploration, there's lots of exposition, you're reading a lot. Having a consistent frame rate isn't the most critical thing. We're right now at 24, 25 FPS, and this is running at 7 watts, so this is the default TDP that everyone will be playing out without even trying to do anything. And I was kind of just showing that just so because this is kind of more consistent with what people should anticipate when they run this type of game. Let me go over here, go out and try to go into some battles and try to load some other screens. But the interesting part about this game, mostly, I have to just go and take off my evasive maneuver, because that will reduce the amount of random encounters that I get. You can see that as we're like going on, I'm about 2 hours into the game. I got my first party member, and so far I'm really enjoying the combat mechanics, and I feel like that is one of the most critical parts of any type of JRPG. Is it's only as good as its combat system, and if the combat isn't fun, then you're kind of lost. And it does have this interesting break system that you can kind of generate points as you go forward, and any of their vulnerabilities will reduce their shield. I was using the touchscreen for a moment there. You can see that our frame rate is mostly pretty good. I consider this game extremely playable even at 7 watt without having to do anything, and I am having a really good time with it, especially I'm actually enjoying random encounters, which I usually loathe when playing JRPGs. Seldom do I play a JRPG. So you can see there's one shield right there, and if I use a fire, which he's vulnerable to, that goes to 0, which breaks his basically he loses his turn, and at this point when he's dazed like this, his defense is lowered critically, and now we can use right bumper to boost, and then you can do multiple attacks, or if you're going to use magic, you can actually boost how much magic damage you're going to be doing. And I just, as silly as it sounds, I find myself enjoying kind of figuring out the strategy of when to break their shield, because there is a good amount of strategy in that part. And the visual aesthetics of the game really help me just kind of enjoy going through the exploration parts of it. How it is with the exposition so far is that, at least initially, the first I'm gonna say the first 30 minutes I was just like non-stop reading, and I have to admit that I have a very, very low bar. So right now I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna do a boost, and then I'm gonna go to a fireball, and now I've boosted my fireball, and you do more damage because his defense was lowered from his shield. I have an extremely low bar for playing JRPGs. When I first started playing JRPGs, I basically played the best 2 games ever. There's Final Fantasy VI and also Chrono Trigger. And those are the first 2 JRPGs that I was introduced to as a young kid. I don't know what that purple thing is. So I'll try to see if I can learn what other vulnerabilities these guys have. But suffice to say that if I am enjoying my time with a JRPG, you should take that to mean that it is really good, because again, I have, so that's one of his vulnerabilities. You can see that just opened up. Merchant skills, like I want to do that. Let's boost this. I don't know if that boost is even necessary. But yeah, I've been enjoying playing this game on my commute, and I actually look forward to my commutes now, especially now that if anyone's been paying attention, especially on our Discord, I've moved offices, and that was a big project for my company. And let me use Fireball. So now my commute is extended, and one of the benefits of having an extended commute is that I have more time to play during my commute. So, kind of pretty good. A silver lining to having a longer commute. And again, early on in the game, you're going to get that special skill to avoid random encounters. Also down here, you can see that the minimap only turns red when I start running. And I haven't looked into it, but it really does seem like running, especially in random encounter areas, exacerbates how often random encounters happen. The good news is that for people that dislike random encounters, there is that skill that you get very early on to avoid random encounters, or make them happen less often, which is pretty dope. This game almost did lose me early on with the first 30 minutes of exposition. I was just kind of like rolling my eyes a little bit. But since getting a chance to play with it, and especially playing on the handheld, I can see why the Switch actually runs this game so well, because the Switch is GPU heavy first in terms from its mobile, from a mobile standpoint. Its GPU is considerably better than the HC615, even though we are running at a decent frame rate at 7 watt. I have to imagine that the Switch maintains a stable frame rate a lot easier than we're actually showing up here. You can see all the different variable frame times as I've been playing. But yeah, the whole package so far is winning me over. Also, the starting character, the Cyrus guy, I'm so far liking him. I do recall a few people on Twitter when they were playing this for the Switch saying they didn't find it to be the best. So boosting, you can see that I hit him twice, and he had 2 shield right there, and that allowed me to break it. So I'm gonna go here and use Ice Wind because he's vulnerable to ice. That's how you win. I don't got no more boosts. Didn't need it anyway. Let me save my game. That is the only other thing that I would like to comment on, is that Octopath Traveler, it doesn't really respect sleep all that well. So what I mean by that is if you put the console to sleep like this, we'll wait for the fan to spin down. And when I come back up, if I, let me log in real quick. That came back, but if I were to leave this for asleep for about 5 minutes, Octopath Traveler will close out, which means that you really should be banking either on the autosave or purposely saving anytime that you get to one of these saving areas. But that's it. I'm really enjoying Octopath Traveler. It runs really well, even at 7 watt. Totally recommendable on low spec machines. If you have a GPD Win 2, it'll run well on here. That's it. As always, thank you for your time, and thanks for watching.